Colleagues, if my count is correct, 9 senators have spoken to this bill before me. And while I respect the right of all senators to hold their own views, there were a couple of points raised in debate which I would like to address. The first was the insinuation by one senator that Bible sanctions violence against children. This is not accurate. Nowhere in the Bible will you find a defense for child abuse. None. Biblical references to corporal punishments are not and have never been an admonition for or an acceptance of child abuse. In fact, as historians and sociologists studying the early church have pointed out, one of the reasons that Christianity grew exponentially during its first 300 years was due to the exceptional way that Christians treated women and children, in contrast to all of the cultures around them. Christians believe that every person, regardless of race, sex, ethnicity, or ideology, is made in the image of God. Furthermore, in God's eyes, every person carries immeasurable value, born and unborn. So much so that God was willing to pay the price for their redemption with the life of his own Son. Because of this, Christians in the early church treated everyone with respect, including women and children. Senator Delphine pointed out that ancient Roman laws gave the father the power of life and death over his children. This is true. Abortion was commonplace. Unwanted newborn children were often left exposed to the elements to die, especially newborn girls. But the early church resoundingly rejected these attitudes and values. They treated women and children with dignity, providing safe haven in tumultuous times. This is true of Christianity even today, and to suggest otherwise is to misrepresent the facts. Any biblical reference to corporal punishment of children is not an endorsement of violence or abuse. Such a thing was never contemplated by the writers of Scripture and never promoted by the followers of Christ. On the contrary, Christians carry a deep sense of responsibility to protect the vulnerable and speak up for those without a voice. This is why many are unapologetic about speaking out against abortion and assisted suicide. Now, I recognize that some senators may struggle with this viewpoint, but the position is rooted in the firm belief that every human life has immeasurable value. I, on the other hand, struggle to understand why we are so anxious to amend the criminal code in order to criminalize parents who give their child 1 or 2 gentle smacks on their backside, but won't consider amending the criminal code to specify that knowingly assaulting a pregnant woman or causing physical or emotional harm to a pregnant woman should be considered aggravating circumstances for sentencing purposes.